Hey guys, so today we're going to be exposing some cheaters from the NA West DreamHack Finals. So here we have Hoop saying that he's going to team with Daniel to WQ me if I land at Sweaty, because they have an agreement where they have a shared loop path, and if I get in their way, then he's going to key me, but he won't key Daniel, as he says in here. This is completely against TOS, and I'm going to prove it in this video. So next are some screenshots of his friends trying to harass me and get me off the drop spot. Nothing against TOS, I guess. So Trashy is the other player involved. So there's actually 3 players total, which I'll show later. He didn't do anything wrong in the message they showed there, but I'm showing right here that this is in fact Daniel. Trashy is Xen Daniel, and Hoop is in fact Saratman, as he's taking full credibility for it, and it shows that he renamed himself.
No way!
So here's the most important clip and the start of it all. Hoop never goes over to the softies over here again because I don't land here. Next game, I mess up my drop. Daniel was the one who's supposed to 50-50 me. And we actually have the introduction of a third guy because one of 3 things happened here. 1, he was stream sniping, which wasn't very likely. I had a 3-minute delay. 2, he was communicating with Daniel, which is very likely. I'll show why soon. Or 3, as we could see here from our third guy, he was actually wall hacking and using ESP. So a quick note about Luca that I would like to mention is he did threaten to DDoS me, and as you can see on the screen right here, DDoSing is illegal. It can give you a $500,000 fine and up to 10 years in prison. The authorities have been contacted, and on public information, Luca has set his location as well as his first and last name and what year he is in high school. So we have his age, his location, and his name. If he does commit the act, this is not looking good for him. Like I said, all this information was public. On his Discord, he has his YouTube attached to it, and on his YouTube banner has his Instagram, and his Instagram is just his first and last name. And I'm not going to show it, but it does say on his Instagram where he goes to school and what year he is. He called me a retard. I don't know who's stupider. So not only this, but he did say that he is responsible and he takes full responsibility if I do get DDoSed. But either way, we saw that all of Genuine Cord might be cheating because he said he makes hacks. And why wouldn't you give your hacks to your friends? We could see that all Genuine Cord might be hacking. Right here, he is a part of Genuine Cord, and Hoop is a part of Genuine Cord, so that's why I said he might be ESP. So now that we have established the players, let's go ahead and establish what rules I believe they have broken. If we scroll down here on the official rules, Rule 8.2.2. Before we get into Rule 8.2.2 and what rules they broke there, 8.2.1 also states utilizing outside assistance regarding the location of other players' health or equipment, or any other information not otherwise known to the player by the information on his or her own screen. For clarity, a player's receipt of coaching or use of the in-game replay tool does not fall within the prohibition. So telling each other someone's location would fall under this violation. So here's the main rule, Rule 8.2.2. Players may not work together to deceive or otherwise cheat other players during any match. I would be the other player. Example of collusion include the following. Teaming, players working together during the match while on opposing teams. We are playing solos. I could show a clip right here of Daniel staring at me, gathering information, and then Hoop keying me. Planned movement, agreed between 2 or more opposing players to land at specific locations or to move through the map in a planned way before the match begins. Clearly they have a loot route. We showed that with the DMs, that clearly they have a planned agreement on how they're supposed to land, and that's why they want me to land somewhere else. Communication, sending or receiving signals, both verbal and non-verbal, to communicate with opposing players. They're clearly in a Discord call. Either that or Hoop has wall hacks. One of the two. Probably both, actually. Item dumping, intentionally dropping items for an opposing player to collect. Not exactly that happens, but I will show a clip where Hoop does leave behind a big pot for Daniel. And feeding, intentionally allowing oneself to be eliminated by an opposing player, that doesn't happen here. However, I have said the ones that do happen, and I'll show that proof right now. So all the clips that I just showed were from game 1, all Daniel's perspective and Hoop's perspective. That was all game 1. This is now game 2, where Daniel won the drop in this game. And now we see the loot route that they have predetermined from each other. So Hoop gets this house, and you notice he never even goes towards Softies. Now, how could he know that I landed at Softies and Daniel didn't? But in this game, he knows that Daniel landed there and I didn't. Well, there's only one way to know. Either 1, he told him, or 2, he has wall hacks. Both an actual possibility. So this is game 2. Here we have game 3. Game 3 has probably the biggest evidence of them colluding and cheating out of all of them. So you see, the reason I showed them doing their loot route last game is so that we can see that it's consistent, that this is what they agreed upon. He's not just going through sweaty willy-nilly. This is what he chose. So you see he goes back into the same house. Hoop goes over here. But this time he backs up because he knows there's more people here, because they told each other there's more people here. So I'm going to skip forward to where the biggest collusion happens. So right here, Daniel and Hoop are standing right next to each other. They pulled zone. Daniel needs more mats. He's telling Hoop that. Hoop's like, I'm just going to farm mats up here. Nothing big. Nothing TOS right here, I guess. You know, other than that, we already know that they're communicating and talking. But then something really interesting happens here. Take a look. I don't know if you caught that. Let me play it again. So Hoop sees Daniel right there and then just happens to run to the other side. Oh, let me look over here so it doesn't look suspicious. I don't see you. I'm not even going to look to my right again. Now, again, there's nothing TOS against that, supposedly, but it's what happens next. Over here, you see Hoop is looking for Storm Surge tags. He hits this guy once. He's not missing. Hoop is a machine with his aim, probably because he soft aims. We saw that all Genuine Core members most likely hack. He sees Daniel back there. I'll play it again, but slower. He sees Daniel right there, okay? Hoop is trying to get his Storm Surge tags. There's 89 players alive, as you can see in the top left. He needs these tags. He's going for tags on everyone. They're like, oh, well, you clearly saw me, so let's pretend like we're going for tags. Okay, let me just miss all these shots and then hit near impossible shots on every single person next. Tracks through the builds right there. Not hard, actually, but here, look. Boom, hard shot, hard shot, hard shot, hard shot, hits, but he couldn't hit somebody gliding through the air. One of the easiest things to do. He was going in a straight line. It's just tracking at that point. These shots on the other players are way harder than the ones that he took on Daniel. They're clearly communicating and cheating in one way or another. So here we have game 4. We have incidences in almost all the games. I'm speeding it up a lot to show that he's just doing the same loot route that he pre-planned with Daniel, but never did when I landed there. So here we're just checking out the loot route, making sure that it's consistent, and he sees that his loot route is actually blocked off this game. He doesn't key this guy because he doesn't have DMs with him to key him every time, so they're not in agreement that he's just going to get his entire game ruined and his tournament ruined if he tries to contest one of his friends. So here's one of the biggest pieces of evidence. I don't want to bore you guys with farming, so I sped it up. But if we look right here, this is sped up 4 times, by the way. You see a big pot in the area over there. He only has 2 big pots. He needs a big pot. He clearly saw it. It's sped up 4 times. Now look who he left it behind for. So let's click on Daniel's name. Oh, what do you know? Daniel's 160 health. And there's a big pot for him right here. Just happens to be here. Hoop clearly saw the big pot, as we saw. It was sped up so much, and we were still able to identify the big pot there. He only had 2 big pots in his inventory. Daniel and Hoop are clearly breaking Rule 8.2.2 and 8.2.1. ruining other players' tournaments, possibly hacking. I would look into that. Epic. Most genuine core members, I'll look into if they're hacking. Possibly using ESP wall hacks. Possibly soft aiming. Definitely communicating with each other in one way or another. They're doing it verbally through Discord, as well as splitting a POI. I don't know why Xen would condone one of their players doing this. As well as Epic, I would recommend you looking into all of the games, not just the first 4 games, as I've only showed you the first 4 games. I'm sure there's more evidence in the other games. Thank you for looking into this, and I hope Epic comes to the right decision on this one. Cheaters don't deserve to win.